Welcome back to the Fun Time program. This is part 3 of our Kink episode. We hope that you have been listening along for part 1 and part 2. If not, we highly recommend you go back and take a listen to those because you might get a little lost, or maybe you'll just have fun jumping in head first in part 3. We decided to split this up into 3 parts just so that it was easier to digest. So this is part 3 of our Kink episode, and we hope you enjoy.
Let's get on to
electricity.
Fair enough. Yes.
I'm so excited to talk about electricity.
How is electricity used in sexual encounters?
So electricity is really interesting because it's really used a lot more in foreplay than it is in actually having sex. But like, foreplay is obviously part of sex, and foreplay can sometimes be more fun than the actual sex. Like sometimes sex is more of the release than it is the entire focus. So like fucking is fun, but sometimes like the build up to fucking can be so much more fun and so much more intense that like when you finally get around to fucking, you're like doing it for just a few minutes because you're just like, oh my God, I just need to fucking release. Like, oh my God, whatever. So you have that, right? So electricity is really great because there's different toys that allow you to control electricity in different ways. So there's something called a violet wand or a neon wand. Same thing, different brands. I personally prefer a neon wand, but it's really just a matter of preference. They both do the same thing. They both have very similar attachments. And technically the violet wand is the original, if I'm not mistaken. They're like the original brand. And
what do you do with these wands?
Okay, so there's different things that you can do. So they all come with glass attachments, and the glass attachments are, if you've ever been to like Spencer's or
Spencer Gifts, like that store
Spencer's
in the mall
Gifts.
that everybody go to when they're 13.
Exactly, that one.
They sell electrostim toys there.
No, but they sell those little globes, those like plasma globes that have that was the electricity like swirling around. A neon or violet wand is that in wand form with the glass attachment.
Okay.
So the glass attachments become those globes, but far more localized. And so you can kind of like use static electricity to like zap yourself or zap a friend. But it's not super intense, and like you can adjust the intensity, and you can make it more intense. You can make it less intense. You can make it more just for show where you just see the electricity, but you don't really feel it as much. But then you have different attachments like the power tripper or the contact rod, depending on, again, if you're using
the power tripper or the contact rod.
Yeah, whether you're using the neon wand or the violet wand, respectively. And what that does is it allows the person who is making contact with the pad or the rod to become that globe. So all the electricity that you would normally see swirling around in the glass,
it's like
is
that
swirling around on the top of your skin.
It's like that experiment we did in like 6th grade or something. Little did I know this was a sexual activity.
Hey, so a very easy way to think about it is if you've ever been able to see a Tesla coil demonstration, how if someone is touching the Tesla coil and they reach out and touch someone else, that person's hair like sticks all out and their whole skin becomes electrified because our skin, like our bodies, are conductors of electricity. Obviously, we have electrical impulses that are running all the way through like everything that we do. It's how our brains operate, our muscles operate, everything. So like we have electricity running through our bodies. So our bodies are actually reasonably good conductors of electricity. So when you become electrified, you're completing the circuit. And so someone else coming in and touching you is disrupting the circuit in a way where they can, where the electricity jumps from them to you or you to them, depending on who is the one electrified, right? So that can be really stimulating because, I mean, your brain responds to electricity. It is an electrical computer running. So it's a bunch of electrical impulses. So you're basically creating an electrical impulse that it didn't create. And your brain is like, what was that? I didn't do that. Do it again. Wait, do it again.
So it's a whole new form of inflicting sensation on someone.
And as your resident hedonist, I am all about different types of sensations.
Wow.
And there's also different types of electrical toys available. So one of the most common ones that most people have seen, that they have probably seen in a non-sexual context, is a TENS unit. So if you've ever been in a physical therapy situation where they apply 2 pads to your skin and run electrical pulses between those 2 pads.
It triggers your muscles.
That's a TENS unit.
Don't they sell them for like getting a 6-pack of abs while you sit on the couch and eat popcorn? I feel like I've seen those ads.
Yeah, they did sell those. They had to recall them because they weren't insulated and they didn't take into account that people would be sweating. And so it would short out the electricity and like cause burns.
Oops.
Yeah. Don't trust everybody with your electricity, kids. Trust the experts.
Oh,
they were
Lord.
not experts. And I mean, technically they had the right idea. Like, yes, running electrical impulses to your muscles is going to cause them to expand and contract, which is going to cause them to work out, right? So you are going to be able to get a 6-pack putting on this belt.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's like me sitting here flexing my muscle all day long. You can flex your muscle. It's not going to cause the muscle to grow.
Sure.
The only way to cause your muscles to grow is to have resistance.
some sort of, right.
Yes.
Exactly. So yes, you're going to be flexing those muscles and you're probably going to be working those muscles more than you would be normally sitting on the couch, but it's not going to be enough. And again, you cause the sweating and then Bob's your uncle, you're on fire. So that is not what happens with these toys, though. The toys, you don't have to worry about sweating because the electricity is far more localized and it's actually a lot more insulated from sweat glands. So even though you're making contact with a metal pad, that metal pad has, or metal rod, again, respectively, has a rubberized and insulated cord that is keeping it completely away from the unit itself that is actually electrified. So you have a big enough distance away that you're still maintaining a bit of safety without having to worry about electrocuting yourself in a dangerous way.
Are these usually plugged into the wall or are they usually battery operated?
So the neon and violet wand are both plugged into the wall. Yes.
And that's not dangerous? Like what happens if, I don't know, you get a surge or something? I guess we have surge protectors now. We have fuses and stuff in the wall. So you're not going to get like a giant surge.
We live in 2020.
Lightning strikes your building. You're not going to get electrocuted by the lightning. Okay.
It's very low. Very low plausibility. And I mean, honestly, if you're already into electricity, you might like it. So
dangerous.
Danger zone. But then you have the more upgraded and sophisticated toys. And now back to show and tell. I brought one of my favorite toys with me. It is called an Erostek. You can see the box here. And that's for our listeners at home, Erostek, the Erostek. So what it is it's really just this little box. But this little box is very similar to a TENS unit in that you can have the 2 pads that you can apply. So you've got like the pads that you can.
So that's like the ones where they're stimulating your muscles for.
Yeah, they're stimulating a very specific muscle.
Okay.
So this is so where a neon wand and a violet wand are generalized electricity and you can feel it throughout your entire body, but you also can't do any sort of internal play with it because as soon as you make skin to skin contact, it completes the circuit and you can't feel the electricity anymore. The Erostek is localized, so you actually can have internal play with this.
What does internal play mean? Internal
play means it is inserted into your body in some capacity.
Wow.
So,
and then you're electrifying whatever it is that you inserted.
Right. So, perfect example. One of the attachments that you have to buy separately, but definitely does come for it.
Oh my God, it's an egg.
It is. It's a little egg, and
That's kind of cute. And it has
kinda see
it has
through-
wires coming out the back of it.
How else is it supposed to look?
You know?
Like, it has to attach to the box.
Wasn't there a scene in Princess Bride where they were electrocuting him like progressively higher and higher, and then
Yes,
he
there
eventually
was.
dies but comes back to life?
Yes.
It's like that, but
A little bit.
not quite as
Little bit.
dangerous.
A little bit. Not quite as dangerous. So you can kind of see that there is a clear section in between the egg, and that's separating the two, like the positive and negative charge.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, look at that.
You can see right
So
through it.
it's got two metal sides that are separated by a piece of glass in the center.
Mm-hmm. So what this does is, this is the vaginal egg. So you insert this into the vagina, and when you plug it into the machine, obviously we are not going to give a full demonstration today. Calm down. I know a few listeners out there got real excited real quick. You have a whole bunch of different options as to what you want to experience. So you have things like stroke, ramp, thump, thrust, combo, throb, climb, high frequency, user, audio waves, audio loud, audio soft.
What does audio mean?
So the audio is, it actually has a mic at the top of the box. So it actually can listen to the environment, and it will create pulses based on the sounds that it hears.
No way. So you can be playing music,
Yes.
and it's like
It turns-
electrocuting you based on the music.
Yes. Which is also really great for predicament play, which is something that we haven't quite covered yet, but is definitely like along the kink lines. So predicament play is really fun, where you create a loop sort of situation, a cycle. So if I say, if I put this on, say, audio soft in practically a quiet room, and I start talking, it is going to translate the sound of my voice into electrical pulses.
Wow.
And what's going to end up happening is the person who is being electrocuted is going to respond to that electricity in some capacity. If they make a noise, the noise that they make will also
Lord.
translate to an
It's
electrical
like a
pulse.
shock collar for a dog to stop them from barking. Cruel. Cruel.
Shock collars can also be used as part of electroplay, but we'll get back to that another day.
Interesting. Wow.
Not that I have one. I totally do. So it's a really fun toy if you have a few extra dollars that you would like to dedicate specifically to electricity, because there's different types of attachments that can come with it. So you have like the TENS unit pads. You also have the egg that I just showed you. There's a butt plug attachment. There's also cock and ball loops. So they're rubber loops that one goes around the cock, one goes around the balls, and it creates a charge between the two. And so it basically electrifies your penis. And that's really interesting because...
Can that be used to transmit it to a partner?
Yep.
Wow. So you have an electric dick, and you can electrocute people with it.
Uh-huh. Not that I would ever be into it. It's so fun.
Welcome to 2020, guys.
Oh, God, it's so fun. Not that I'm really into electricity, but I'm completely into electricity. My Instagram handle is Goddess of Electricity if you would like to follow me.
Oh, Lord.
And so that's really fun.
What is this flogger you've got over here?
Oh, my God, my flogger. I don't know how I almost forgot. So back to impact play. So that's something where we listed that as one of the more common kinks, right? So you've got something like a paddle, your standard paddle, not so standard paddle, says slut, but it also says it backwards so that when you impact someone, it leaves the impact in a readable way. So that's real fun. I like my slut paddle.
Cute.
It's got nice little thud to it.
Is the
Little sting.
Is the lettering effective? Have you managed to get it to show?
Oh, absolutely. I have absolutely gotten it to say slut on a few delicious looking asses.
Wow.
So that's been great. And then we have my flogger. So, for those of you listening at home who haven't actually seen a flogger,
It's got the handle of a sword.
It's got this big old handle, and it has all of these
Strips of leather.
Yeah, like strips of leather that are like, I call them flails. I'm almost positive that's what they're supposed to be called, but I'm not the best with that. So you have
almost like a mop.
Yeah, almost like an old school mop. Or like if you've ever been to a car wash.
Oh my God, it's a car wash attachment. Is that where the first flogger came from? No, I guess a flogger was actually a tool to inflict torture on people.
Yes.
Like they would actually beat people with these things. They probably weren't made out of leather. They were probably made out of metal and crap like that.
Oh no, I mean they were definitely made out of leather because you can absolutely harm someone with a leather flogger.
Really? But now it's a sex toy.
Well, I mean, anything that can be used or that used to be used as ostensibly a torture device, when used in lower levels or used in a safe capacity, can be used as a kink device or used in a fun and safe way. It's really just about navigating the boundaries between the two partners and making sure that you're not actively harming the person that you're with,
right?
And that you're staying within their thresholds and that you're staying within their boundaries and making sure that they feel safe the entire time.
And that's why communication is so important, both communication leading up to your encounters with somebody if you haven't explored something specific with them before, and also communication during the encounter to make sure that as things are progressing that you are both still enjoying the experience.
And it's very important to mention aftercare.
Oh, what is aftercare?
So especially when you're in a situation like impact or rope play or something where you are putting a reasonable amount of physical strain on your body in some capacity.
Can it also be mental strain?
It can also be mental strain. I was just about to say. You definitely want to make sure that there is some sort of negotiated aftercare. So especially in like a dom sub situation, you want to make sure that like after you finish a scene, you're both checking in with one another, whether that is like having some cuddles and like being very tender and sensitive, or just like rubbing their back or giving them the space that they want. Like whatever it is that they need as their aftercare, you want to make sure that you're giving them that so that they know that you weren't just having fun harming them. So that they not only feel appreciated and feel respected, but they also feel cared for all the way around. So it becomes more of just an I'm inflicting pain. I'm inflicting pain, and then I'm going to turn around, and when you are ready, I'm going to also be very tender towards you.
Wow.
However it is that you want me to be tender towards you. If you want to just like cuddle for like 20, 30 minutes or what have you, we can absolutely do that. I can stroke your back. I can stroke your hair, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. We negotiate that before the scene starts so that when we're ready for aftercare, we can make sure that we go right into that very smoothly.
So care is a big part of kink, and as much as you're exploring, pushing people's boundaries in terms of, physical experience or emotional experience, it is always done within a framework of caring for them. And as long as the communication is happening, that can continue to be communicated. And then afterwards you can communicate it with aftercare.
Absolutely.
Wow. That sounds really important. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
awesome.
Super important.
I mean, this has been so fun. We've really taken a deep dive here into
Run
kink.
the gamut.
I've learned an absolute ton. I've learned a lot about things that I definitely don't want to try.
Maybe some things that you do.
Perhaps some curiosity that, might be interesting to explore one day. I think it's probably good for people to spend time thinking about what are the things that turn them on. Why do they turn them on? What are new ways that they could explore new things? And how can they, develop a communication with their partner to make them feel comfortable exploring things that they haven't had the opportunity to explore yet. And that's why I think, again, communication is so important, but also making the effort to reach out to the community and find the kink community, find, the sex shops that may have be able to give advice on whether it's toys or maybe offer classes, finding classes online. Don't just go to Pornhub, don't just jump onto the porn sites and see what the porn stars are doing, because
they are not doing it proper. They are not doing it in a safe and consensual way.
Yeah, it's important to remember that porn is being depicted in a way to make it visually stimulating, and it's not necessarily a representative
for the people
of
involved.
Right. It's not necessarily representative of the way that these kinds of things can be done in a positive way between two consenting partners. So yeah, important not to just go the porn route, but to seek out the people who have spent a lot of time learning about this kind of stuff and can offer good advice on it. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear what your experiences on kink has been. Are these things that you have played around with? Are there other things that you played around with that we didn't cover here today? Let us know. Drop us a comment. Shoot us an email. Let us know what your thoughts were on this episode. We had a lot of fun taking a deep dive.
Fun. Absolutely. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, and I could obviously talk about this forever. So if you want to see us do another foray into kink, we are probably going to take a little bit more of a deeper dive into needle play at some point in the future, and have my friend Dean join us to explain more in depth from someone who actually knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. And maybe give you a similar reaction to I had.
Well, thanks for joining us today, and we hope that you enjoyed everything that you heard. Like he said, give us a shout, give us a listen, and maybe give us a like or a comment or even a subscribe. And we will see you next time on the Fun Time program.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.